Habs win! Gutsy win against the Tampa Bay Lightning at home in regulation. That's one of the most important parts. I'm going to break down the game a little bit. I'm going to add my commentary. I got some positive feedback from my last reaction. Hope this stands to it as well. I'm fairly nervous for my second video, more than the first one for some reason. But yeah, so Habs win, regulation, huge 2 points. We keep Tampa with no points when they come to our barn. They played yesterday in Toronto. They lost in regulation. They played today at Montreal. They lose in regulation. They go 2 games without any points. And we are now 1 point behind them. They do have a game ahead of us. But suddenly, that third spot in the East, in the Atlantic Division, rather, I say, it's up for grabs, right? Like, suddenly, Tampa is on reach. Like, after the game today, as the time of this recording, and I don't think there's any other games tonight that can change that outcome, the Habs are in our wildcard spot. So we are once again, it's not the first time during this last month that the Habs are in a wildcard spot. It's nuts. Did anyone think we were going to be in a wildcard spot after October? I know a lot of Habs fans, including myself, are, like, before the season starts, we think we're going to be the best in the Atlantic and whatnot. Yeah, sure. But once the season started and once we got that reality check and October happened and the first few weeks of November happened, did anyone think we were going to be in a wildcard spot during January? I didn't. I know a lot of you guys didn't. But hey, here we are. Thing is, we are right now in a wildcard spot, but like today, every single game from here onwards is going to be do or die. Every team is like between 2 or 3 points. I think New York, with the win they got tonight, even with their huge loss streak that they had, they're all like 2 or 3 points out of the wildcard spot. So and they're like second to last. The New York Islanders, which everyone makes fun of how bad they've been this season, they're like 4, 5 points out of the playoff of the wild card. So yeah, even the bad teams are really close. Detroit, Ottawa, Boston, Columbus, the Flyers, all of them are 1 or 2 points away. So yeah, the Habs cannot give any single thing. And today was huge for that. Like I said, Tampa were coming off from a back-to-back. Habs had some rest. They played Sunday. They took yesterday off, apparently, and today, I think I heard the commentator say that they took off the morning skate. So Martin St. Louis wanted them to be as rested as possible to go against the Tampa Bay Lightning, who were supposed to be very tired because they played yesterday, right? Well, the first period didn't look like that. The first period was fairly bad for the Habs. The energy wasn't there. The Tampa got a few power plays here and there. A high stick from Hudson at the point, which, by the way, I don't know what's up with the players. Whenever they get grazed near the face, near the head area with a stick, they suddenly are like, oh! That was my best getting shot impression, by the way. Yeah, they got shot on the face. I don't know how much all of those hurt. I don't buy that all of those hurt as much as they sell them. I know they need to be like, hey, ref, I got hit. I know they need to sell it a little bit for the refs to notice, because there are a lot of high sticks that go unnoticed if they just play tough, But, like, Gensel gets like, oh, I'm so dead in front, and he gets a penalty. We do exactly the same when Duck gets the penalty, like a few minutes later. He again is like, oh. And I think the stick hit his visor, or like right under the visor, but it didn't look like he actually had any recoil from the stick hitting his face. So I don't like they do that. Like, yes, like I said, they need to sell it to the refs. I understand that part. At some point, it's gonna be embellishment, or should be embellishment. Like, you can't just drop down to the ice to sell it. I don't know. Maybe it's a pet peeve of mine. Anyways, Hudson gets a high stick, and then I think Matheson later on interferes with Kucherov. I don't know if he didn't trust Hudson then. By the way, like Hudson was cutting Kucherov, and then Matheson just interferes with him for no reason. I don't know if he didn't trust Hudson or to get away from Kucherov, or maybe he thought Kucherov was gonna steal the puck from him. I don't know. Bad penalty though. But speaking of penalties, I'm gonna say it right now. I think they did not score in the penalty on the power play at all. I heard there were a bunch of Tampa Bay players that are injured, so they don't have their full roster. I know Chernak wasn't there. I was thinking of how the Slovakians were not gonna fight each other again. It was really fun seeing Chernak versus Slavkovsky. I know Chernak even commented on Slavkovsky working out during the summer, so like I know they trained together in Slovakia during the summer, so it's always fun seeing them go at it during the games. But Chernak wasn't there. I know others weren't there, so I don't know if Tampa had their full their first power play lines out there, but they still had Gensel, they still had Kucherov, they still had Hedman, they still had Point, Cirelli, Hagel. They're all really good at power play. And I think they didn't score in the power play at all. So we gave them 3 to 4 power plays, and they didn't convert. So kudos to our penalty killers. Armia, Evans, both of them were doing great jobs out there. Kudos to Anderson. He has been really clutch in the penalty kill. Dvorak had a good stick here and there. I've said it before, I don't like Dvorak. I didn't like his game today. He got a dumbass penalty. He did redeem himself later and got tripped exactly where he had tripped the other player. So he had that redemption going for him. But he did his job in the penalty kill. But our best penalty killer, and I think our best player of the game, and one of the main reasons of why we won the game, Montyyyyy. Samuel Montyyyyy. He didn't play well on Saturday against the Leafs. He didn't play bad, but he was average or below average to his standards, especially for a Saturday night. Isn't he called like Mr. Saturday Night, Samedi soir, or something like that, right? And he didn't play well. He was 2-2-1 in his last 5 they showed, while Dabesh has been 5 wins, right? So a lot of people have started to doubt Montyyyyy. A lot of people have started saying, start Dabesh, run the whole goalie, or he's way better than Montyyyyy and whatnot. I'm really, really glad for Monty to play as well as he did today, to prove that he is still our main goalie. It's really good to have 2 really hot goalies, so I'm not gonna complain. But I was starting to feel doubts about Monty, right? Like he didn't play well, and he didn't play well against who was it? Dallas. He had a few softies going, like Dallas 2 weeks ago when they played in Montreal. But like, yeah, like he hadn't been as good as he's been before, and today he was amazing. He was our best player. He had so many clutch saves. Matheson gives the puck by doing a little too much in the third period when we're tied, and Monty saves him. Who else got the puck? Oh, Anderson was trying to get off and the puck is on his skates. They steal it. They almost score. Monty is there. He saved so many very dangerous chances, and we were giving so many chances, by the way. I'm gonna get there, but I went on a huge branch. I was talking about the penalty kill. Kudos to the penalty kill. Kudos to Monty. It feels really reassuring the way he played today. We're gonna right now we have a great goalie tandem as they're playing. So he played. Vasilevsky is really good. By the way, how cool is it that Tampa decided to play Vasilevsky against the Habs in the second half of their back-to-back? Doesn't that make you feel just a little bit better? Even though they know there are a lot of reasons. People say that they might play the better goalie for the easier game, so you secure some points. To have a higher chance of securing the points. So we might still be the weaker of the two, which understandable. But like, doesn't it make you feel just a little bit good that they play Vasilevsky against us when most of the times against Tampa we were getting the second string goalie, because they didn't need to play their best goalie. Just save the important goalie, give him some rest. It's just the Habs. That's how it used to be. Not even a month ago or a month and a half ago. So yeah, it makes me feel good that they play Vasilevsky against us. Caulfield doesn't beat him. They were saying how he's one of the goalies he hasn't scored on still yet, and he doesn't beat him. Caulfield played well. He had a couple shots, a couple dangerous chances, but our first line overall today was they didn't play bad, but they were shut down. Tampa did a really good job at shutting down our first line, which now that we have multiple threats on multiple lines, like our second line, that doesn't mean it's GG. It doesn't mean it's the end of the game over, if they shut down our first line, like it used to be a year ago. Remember a year ago, Slavkovsky, Caulfield, Suzuki were in that same line, and they were rolling. They were rocking a lot of the teams, but they were the only line that was producing. So whenever teams got to shut down that line, the Suzuki line, we wouldn't score. That was it. That was game over. Like, the only thing the other teams needed to do was to shut down the first line. Today, Tampa shuts down our first line. Oh, we have Dak, Laine with Newhook, who have been playing incredibly offensively. I still hate their defensive play, and they actually get scored on from the face-off, and Dak loses his man, right? But I still don't like them defensively, but they've been really good offensively. Dak looks really comfortable out there. I really like that play where he gains the zone, sees he has many players in front of him, so he turns around, does like a loop-de-doo, stays in the zone, and he gets into the slot. He has a good opportunity for a shot, and he completely whiffs. The puck doesn't even move. And he doesn't do anything, but it showed how much confidence he has now. Whereas at the start of the season, you could see him doubting himself or thinking way too much. Now he's a lot looser. It's very nice to see. And they score. Like Laine with two giant assists today. One in the power play to set up Slav, which, by the way, Slav has now scored 3 straight. He scored against Toronto. He scored against yesterday the game tying goal. Not yesterday, Sunday, the game tying goal against New York. And today he scores on the power play. How crazy was that goal? Like, Vasilevsky left this much room between his pads and his arm, and the puck just squeezes in. Like, he shot it at a wall, and somehow it got through. I'm not gonna complain. It goes in. Slav is happy. I'm happy. Laine gets an assist. Lane gets an assist. The Laine assist. That face haunts me. If you know, you know. But, anyways, Laine assist, and Slav buries it. Amazing. So yeah, our first line got shut down pretty heavily. I'm not saying they didn't get scoring chances, but they were fairly quiet all game. Our second line wasn't quiet at all, and they got a lot of good chances. They also give a lot of chances, so it's a double-edged sword, that line. And I don't know how this happens. I know the commentators were mentioning a lot that it's really hard to match lines against John Cooper, because Cooper apparently mixes the lines a lot. But I saw way too many times today Kucherov out there with Laine Dak, and I just mentioned they're a double-edged sword, right? I don't know. I know when we're at home, we get to decide who we match the lines with. So they send their lines out first, and then we send ours, so we get to match it, right? I don't know how it happens so many times that we had our not best defensive lines with some of their best offensive players, and they were getting so many chances. Was it Esimont? I think that's him. And Point. They were just getting lost so many times. Gensel. I'm butchering his last name, but he had so many scoring chances. Again, Montyyyyy was the only one of the main reasons of why we stayed in the game and finally why we won it, right? But we've been touting the Habs for a month and a half for how good they've been defensively. When they played December 29th in Tampa, and we beat them in Tampa, and we shut down Florida, and then the next day we beat Tampa, we were saying how good defensively the team has been. The last 3 games have not been good defensively. We let Toronto score 7 times unanswered. New York had a lot of chances out of defensive breakdowns in our zone. We didn't play well defensively today either. We had a lot of holes. So even though we won, which in ecstasy that we won. It's amazing that we beat them in regulation. I was recording my voice memos on while we were watching the game. And I was saying like, okay, there's 4 or 5 minutes to go. They shouldn't really play for the overtime like they did with Dallas 2 weeks ago when Dallas was in Montreal. You could see there they were just playing for the OT point at least, right? And they got it. Today, they didn't have the commodity of playing for that OT point because we are in a playoff in a points race with Tampa. That if they get that point where they're 2 points away from us, now they're just 1 point away from us after we win in regulation. So. Why did I get there? I'm a little bit lost here. I went on a brunch again. But okay, first period. We gave them 2 power plays. They scored twice in the first period. The first goal was a little bit of a fluky goal in my opinion. Like Kucherov tries to bury the puck in our zone. He whiffs, and Gully gets fooled because Kucherov had all the intention of just putting it in the corner. So Gully turns around, tries to look for the puck, but the puck is on his skates, in between his skates. He doesn't see it. It's in the back of our net. Can't really blame him on Gully, but it's not a pretty goal to have against. Anyways, and then the second goal is from the face-off dot. So I don't know. I said before I never played hockey, and I don't know a lot about the rules of face-offs. But apparently on face-offs, especially in defensive face-offs, you play man-on-man defense until the play progresses more, and Dak loses Gensel, who goes to the net, puck goes to him, and he just scores. So Dak line, that line defensively is they need to be a lot better, and I think Line had an interview where he said they need to be a lot better defensively. So they know. But what I see, just from my homer biased Habs fan watching from the couch, what I see is that usually Line, sometimes Dak, they get impatient in defense, and they go try to help. They see one of their teammates on the 1v1 against the puck carrier, and they try to tries to poke it with his stick or tries to help out, and they leave the space. They leave their own man, and usually the NHL players are really good at seeing that really fast. So they get a lot of scoring chances from that. They don't get scored on today because of that in particular. It was from the face-off. Dak lost his man, but for a second, and it's in the net. But it happened a lot that we were given space. It happened with Hedman. Hedman, who is gigantic, just got lost in front of Montyyyyy because Line went to help on the boards. And Hedman is right there. The pass to Hedman lands on his skates, so he can get a clean shot off. I think he goes. I think someone has time and puts up a stick after. But Hedman got lost in front of Montyyyyy when that line is out. So yeah, they need to play a lot better defensively. Anyways, the Tampa was the better team on the first period for sure. I wanted to comment that from what I've seen during this season, the strategy when we are rested and the team we're facing is in the second half of a back-to-back is usually a lot of chip and chase, like bury the puck deep and chase and hit hard. That had been the case for all the other games in that situation, in that scenario that we've played. I didn't see a lot of that today. I think the strategy before was tire them out the first and second period and then step on the gas on the third and outscore them, outmaneuver them on the third, which is somewhat, now that I'm saying this out loud, it is somewhat what ends up happening in the game, right? Although we did score 2 in the second and then just 1 in the third. But we did dominate. We didn't play good the first. It was an even second. Of course, we come out with 2 clutch goals, but it was a back and forth second. The third, I thought we were a lot better, even though we were still giving them a lot of chances. So they had a lot more shots on goal than we did. I think they reached over 30 shots, and we were like at 22 or something like that. I should maybe put all these stats on my second monitor there so I can actually say the actual numbers. Maybe for next video I'll do that. But yeah, they had a lot more chances than we did. What else did I see today? Hudson played fairly well. He was paired against Kucherov a few times, and you could see it that he wanted that. He wanted that competition, and he got the better of Kucherov a few times actually. Kucherov is really good. He did beat Hudson 1 or 2 times, but yeah, no, Hudson showed some of his defensive IQ out there. He gets the assist on the Slavkovsky goal, like I said, so that puts him on, like, I think it's 9 point streak, and it's an assist streak, which is like tied for best in the NHL in history, which is nuts to think of, because it's been like, what, 120 something years of NHL history, and Hudson, like our rookie, I think it's by rookies, not in general, but like by rookie defensemen, like our rookie, big 62nd overall, gets it's making NHL history. It's crazy to think of. He really needs to be at the top of the Calder conversation, even though he doesn't really care about the Calder. It would be very, very nice to have a Calder winner for the Habs. I think the last time was, I don't even know. I've read it somewhere. It's been forever since the last Habs Calder winner, so it just feels really nice having a player like that with so much impact immediately. And next year we're getting Demidov. Today Demidov Demidov today had amazing assist and goal. I'm not gonna go too much on that because you guys are here for the for the game reaction with Tampa, but yeah, the future is bright, so that feels really good. Anyways, Hudson played well. I think Matheson didn't have a strong game. It looked like he was trying to do a little too much. I know there was one specific play that I'm thinking of that he did do too much, and he got the puck stolen, and the Tampa had another scoring chance. But in general, it seemed like he tried to do that one extra move, which it's always a curse for him. Gouli and Carrier played pretty well. I like how they play. I like that shutdown pair. I really like how fast they are, how good they're with the sticks. And surprisingly, Carrier, who's not a big guy, he plays very physically. He moves his body and gets in areas to like absorb a check and get the puck to a better position. I've seen that doing him that a lot. He gets rocked by Kucherov, actually. Carrier got rocked by Kucherov in the third. He got up fast and he was fine, but yeah, he gets hit. He plans when he's gonna get hit and puts the puck in a better position. So Carrier is playing with all his heart out there. You can see I never saw him play in Nashville. I'm not gonna pretend I do. But you can see that he has his heart for the team there. You can see he was a Habs fan growing up and how much it means for him to play for this jersey, right? So it's really fun to see out there. Gooley played well. I'm really happy to see him out there again after he seemed to have hyperextended his elbow. I couldn't really see what happened with his arm. It seemed like he got caught between another player and like two players. So like I don't know if I couldn't see it, but he was in a lot of pain. Which, by the way, gave another scoring chance because he was on the ice, like breathing in pain. So that wasn't great. What was great was to see him back on the ice after. So we avoid another injury. It was Sunday Anderson with his knee, today Gooley with his elbow, and both of them are fine. It was, by the way, I mentioned on Sunday that I was scared Anderson was gonna like take a game off for the knee, but he was out there today moving. So yeah, hopefully he's not playing injured or not very injured, because he's been really good. Beck. I wanted to mention Beck. I forgot to mention him last time. Beck was once again in the lineup. He was playing on the wing with Evans and Armia. I think he's playing very nervously. You can see that whenever the puck is on his stick, he tries to do something fast. He doesn't have the confidence, which is very understandable. He's a rookie, right? And like he's very defensively responsible, but he is benched or not put out there at least in tight situations. So he's not out there for the last shift of the periods. I saw Martin put Evans and Armia with 1 minute left on the first, and he put Gallagher out there instead of Beck. Gallagher ends up giving the puck and like the Tampa get a really good scoring chance. I did not like Gallagher today. He played really well on Sunday. I did not like how he played today. He looked a little slow, and he gave the puck out a few times. He had a few good plays too. He's always an animal out there. He always plays with all his heart, So he goes to the dirty areas, gets his stick, steals a few pucks. He set up a few good scoring chances, but he gave up the puck a few too many times today for me to be to feel he had a good game. And like I said, he looked a little slow. So I was mentioning back and how he doesn't go out there when the last shift of the period. I've heard so many times that the most important shifts are the first in a period and the last few shifts in the period. So they didn't want to give that responsibility to Beck, which is understandable. And again, because it was a similar situation than Sunday, tied game on the third with 5 minutes left, they put Suzuki or Anderson out there, which is actually who I think Anderson was out there when we scored the game-winning goal, when Evans scores the game-winning goal. It was that line. It was the fourth line, but instead of Beck, it's Anderson. So I don't know what's going up there. I don't know if Evans and Armia don't like playing with Beck or they're still getting used to it. It's sad because Heineman is not out for 3 months or enough time for Beck to start building chemistry and synergy with the players. He's only out for 2 weeks, I think, and there's the Four Nations coming up. So Beck is going to be going back to Laval pretty soon, and I don't think he's going to get to build a lot of synergy with the chemistry with those players. So, I don't know. Hopefully he gets to learn a bunch. I know Beck, a lot of people think he's going to be part of a future. I think he is going to replace Dvorak, hopefully next season. We'll see. So, yeah. Maybe they'll start giving him more responsibilities if we ever play a game that is not decided by one goal. And if next game, which I think is against Detroit on Thursday in Detroit, say we're winning by 2 goals or 3 goals in the third, I'll be curious to see if he's out there with 5 minutes left. Or yeah, that'll be a little telling of what's actually happening there. But yeah, Beck, He didn't play bad. You didn't notice him much, neither positively nor negatively. So that's what you want to see, I guess, from a rookie replacing someone in the fourth line. And yeah, I think that's about it. The second, I already mentioned the goals, how Slav score, and then how Linus set up a new hook for the one timer that beats Vasilevsky clean. Back and forth game. The third was fairly tight. And then we get the goal at the end. I thought the goal was offside actually, so I didn't even celebrate that much because I thought they were gonna call it back immediately. I was wrong. I'm so happy I was wrong. Evans get the game-winning goal, and yeah, we beat the Lightning in regulation. We're 1 point from them. They do have a game in hand, but we're 1 point from the third spot in the Atlantic, and we hold the second wildcard spot in January. Let's fucking go. Woo! Go Habs go. See you after Thursday. I think I'll have to record that game and watch it later, so I'll be posting my my video on Friday. But yeah, see you there. Let's get a win. That game is gonna be massive. Detroit is just 2 points behind us or something like that. We need to win that game. Every game for the rest of the season, pretty much, or until every other team in the Atlantic, in the Eastern Conference, gives up and lets us get ahead a little bit. Every game is do or die. Go Habs go.